Hello, folks. Welcome to 3 at 3. 3 at 3 every business day. We bring you what our heat seeker and sentiment indicators have shown us as unusual, whether that's large blocks on the buy side, which would be calls, or on the sell side, which would be puts. We have it all. And we give that to our subscribers as it happens live. And then, of course, talk about it on CNBC as well as right here on 3 at 3. By the way, I will be on CNBC's halftime again tomorrow, and I was on today. So let's dive in on the 8th of July, 2021. The disclaimer says that every investment involves risk. If you've done this for a while, you already know that. But make sure that you understand what we're presenting here is for educational and informational purposes. Our intellectual property rights include, but are not limited to, registered marks, trademarks, copyrights, and so forth. So make sure you ask us before you reproduce this, unless you're just passing along a tweet or a link to our YouTube channel or something. We always appreciate that. All right, this is what kicked things off today. Japan locking down. Japan locking people out of what was a very expensive ticket to the games. Of course, that ticket became even more expensive when they limited the number of people. And then they limited it to only people in Japan, to their citizens, because they didn't want outside folks coming in and perhaps spreading, because they are more or less a zero tolerance society for that. Anyway, because of that and the worries about growth going forward, if indeed economies are going to lock down, as ludicrous as I think that is, the idea that economies locking down would hurt the markets is a very real possibility, sadly. Nonetheless, that's why we had that negative 500 for the Dow, negative 200 for the NASDAQ, and negative whatever, 75 points for the S&P. We fought our way back. Now we've drifted right back down to about those same levels. So this is something that we'll continue to watch throughout today's session, and I'm sure into tomorrow's. If you would like to get all of our videos for free, I'll give you a secret. You can do it at YouTube. All you got to do is go over to YouTube, and from the YouTube site, if you type in Market Rebellion, you'll be able to subscribe. Costs you absolutely nothing. And you get basically 5 videos a day. You get my workout video in the morning. You get the daily crypto bite. You get Pete's The Take. You get 3 at 3, you get those 4 every day. And on some days you get either the round table or the cocktail hour, depending if it's Monday or Friday. So you want to get all those videos. You want to hear from the likes of Mike Wilson or Tom Lee over at Fundstrat or Tony Dwyer over at Canaccord. Well, we have all those folks. You can watch them on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, type in Market Rebellion. All right, so talked about this one with my buddy Brian Sullivan this morning. And then the noon show called up the halftime report and said, John, you want to talk about that SPXU trade? Sure do. ProShares SPXU is an ETF that is triple. Of course, that means 3 times inverse. So it goes up in price if the market goes down, and it goes up at triple the rate of the market. It does that because it's 1-to-1, and then they buy a 2 more multiplier to take it to 3, and they buy that by virtue of a swap. I don't know who they do it with. Is it Goldman? Is it Credit Suisse? Is it Deutsche? Not sure who provides that, but that's the way leveraged ETFs work, and they reset every day, which is why they're not really a great long-term trade. But nonetheless, we saw 42,000 of these trade yesterday at the July 17 call strike. That's 4.2 million share equivalent. That's a lot. 4.2 million shares of anything is a lot. This is a broad market bet that triple against the S&P, and they paid off pretty big. How big? Well, look at that yellow arrow. That kind of indicates to you where we were last night and where we fell to early this morning. Now we've recovered from the depth of those lows, but we are going into the end of the day. We are still down better than 42. We'll keep an eye on it, but that trade was a triple. Basically, it went from 40 some odd cents to $1.30. So because it was next week expiration, I took mine off, take that money and run, because you don't know how many chances you get on a triple like that. If it was a month out into the future, I would have rolled, which is what I did with KWeb, which is what I did with FXI. Both of those worked out as well. And I rolled those puts down as I took profits on the ones that I had. Now let's talk about Rail. This one, Railcar America, $6.10 stock. They bought 11,000 of those July 7.5 calls. Okay, I will follow along. And the stock fell a little bit. It's down to 588. You see the range there from 535 to 633. That is a wide range, folks, for a $5 stock to have a $1 spread. That's obviously 20%. If it goes from the low end to the high end, that's a full buck, which for a $5 stock to move a buck is 20%. See how I did that math? Anyway, they're buying these calls. I bought at the money calls and sold upside calls, and I will be in it about as long as that till next week. Daily Crypto Bite. This is what we do every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. 10 a.m. Eastern, we talk about the Daily Crypto Bite, what is hitting, what is not, which levels we're buying, which levels we're selling at for cryptos. So we use our sentiment indicators here. We use a variety of other tools, and we talk about it at 10 a.m. Eastern every day. And for people that want the full everything that our crypto team is talking about, well, you got to subscribe. And you can do that by going to marketrebellion.com/try crypto for more. All right, there's my brother Pete. He dialed in on the phone. I was in, as you saw just a moment ago, on the iPad or the Padcaster. Pete was calling in, talking about Oracle and talking about this stock, NIO. Bullish call buying that expires tomorrow. Very, very short term. Tomorrow's the 9th of July. Today's the 8th. You have 1 day for these to be right. Stock was 44.21. They were buying the in the money call by about 75 cents, the 43.50 calls, which were already worth about 75 cents roughly, when the stock is trading 44.21. So this is a very fast trade. This is not for the faint heart. And there it is, moving to the upside, as you saw here, 44.21, not any longer, 45.78. And after Pete cited it on the halftime, I believe it spiked to 46.26. So again, very wide range. Look at that. Nearly a $4 range for a $40 stock. That's almost 10%. This one has already paid off pretty big. And if you're lucky enough to be in it with us, I can't pull the trigger for you. I can tell you to focus, just as they say, nothing makes you focus like the gallows. Nothing makes you focus on an option like the time decay that occurs between today and tomorrow at 4 p.m. So I would say if you have a winner in this one, what I would do, what I have done is I took 75% off. Why 75%? John, you usually do 50. I do. But since we have such a short amount of time, I want more off the table because this can go to nothing like that. Now, granted, they're an in the money call, so the stock has to fall below the strike price, 43.50, for us not to have any value in it. But There's nothing to say that we couldn't have another back-to-back bad day, which causes the markets to roll over, and maybe you don't get a chance to get out of these for 75 or 80 cents, and maybe you have to say goodbye to the other half of your dough. That's why I took 75% off. I left 25% on the table. And if we go much higher than this, I'm going to sell calls into that. Market Rebellion. Well, if you go to marketrebellion.com and then type in the / and then UOA, you'll see about our offerings as far as subscriptions that include unusual option activity. We have a host of them. We also have a subscription service with AJ Monty that is technically based because AJ is a technical trader. We have some that are fundamentally based. You have to decide what really fits your investment strategy best. So go to marketrebellion.com / UOA and check it out. Third and final of our 3 at 3 is EDU. We've had this one before. It has worked out. Now we're seeing the stock $6.21. They're buying the October 750 calls. Now, you know, if you watch me regularly, that I don't buy an out of the money call like that. I buy something that's at the money, which I have done in this case. And I sell an out of the money call against it. These are all the way out in October, so it's not really a time decay play. I just like setting myself up with less money at risk. And that's why I do those 1-to-1 call vertical spreads. There's the stock moving up 6 cents to $6.27. It's been as high as 638 today. And this has a more normal range, 610 to 638. So call that 28-cent range. Okay, that's not as crazy as those others. And if you have questions about anything that you want to ask me about, feel free to shoot them in. Just say at Jon Najarian at Twitter. That's at JONNAJARIAN at Twitter. All right, Gary Tanner, whose handle is at SEVERESARCASM. Okay, if you want to view that as severe sarcasm, let's go with it. He says, Jon Najarian, 3 at 3 UOA, how often do you buy leaps? Seldom. Why? I'm not generally in trades that long. I am in some stocks, handful of them, maybe 10 stocks, 2 hands full, I guess. And the rest of it is all options. And the options are generally not that I'm tracking in the long term. They're usually 1 to 2 months, sometimes 1 to 2 days or weeks. So that's why I don't do leaps as much. If you're somebody who is working a real job, a leap is a great way to trade because you could own the leap and sell calls against it every week, every month, every quarter, whatever you like. And that's a great way to trade, especially if you can't be on top of it. But this is my job. So that's why I don't really trade as many leaps. Lou, whose handle is at LOUDIMOP, says, Doc, love your insight and energy. Bang. I was able to snatch a few calls on AAL this AM. What's your take on the airlines ahead of earnings? Thanks. You already know, but I'm going to tell you anyway, that I am long some Delta, DAL, and did that trade this week. Now, Delta has not treated me well so far. It's down about $1 from when I got in, but I still like it, and I still think they're going to report some good numbers. So I think overall, getting pilots back, getting flight attendants back, getting gate people back is a big deal. But most of those people already make better than that $15 an hour band, which basically, if you're working for 40 hours a week, you're making that, $575 to $600 a week. With the enhanced unemployment, you're at that number. And those are the people that are hard to get back to work because, again, they can do the math. They're not stupid. They know if I can sit at home or go ride a boat or go ride my bike or go to the library, do whatever I want, and make the same amount of money as I could make working, why would I work? So I think most of those others in the travel industry, in particular in the airlines, are doing better than 15. But it depends how much better, because obviously there's your time, there's the travel and all the rest. So I think overall though, Lou, that this is a good play. Andrew Heisinger's handle is at Andrew, Hiesinger. He says to Jon Najarian and 3 at 3, hey, love to hear your take on space, SPCE. Well, my take is that the stock has moved an awful lot. We were in it. We rode it. I love that it's up another 6 today and trading 51.19. The 52-week high is 62.80. Do we get there ahead of the launch? We could, but I think if you look at a 5-day chart of this one and you see that 5 days ago it was trading 43 and now it's 51, you probably want to have some off the table, would be my trade on this one. I would be selling calls at the 52 or higher strike against the winner that you've nailed. So that's what I would do. That's what I have done, because we were in calls for SPCE as well. Thank you. And that's going to do it for today. Remember, you can always go to marketrebellion.com/get started. That's marketrebellion.com/get started to start learning about stock, options, futures, and cryptocurrencies. So go check it out, folks. I know you'll appreciate it, even if you don't sign up. And we've got lots of tutorials and help on the site that are free as well. So go check it out. marketrebellion.com/get started. Thank you for joining today. Hope you have a great one. And I'll see you tomorrow on the halftime report, as well as my 60-second workout video and 3 at 3. See you then.